Since William Byron won at Daytona back in February, so much has happened.
He gets into the wall. Dillon's going to win it at the line.
That's retaliation.
Reddick is going to win again. This time it's in Michigan.
Now, 6 months and a lot of twists and turns later, we're back to where it all started.
Daytona is, an animal of its own.
It's not the Daytona 500, but it is a must-win situation. There are 2 races left in the regular season, which means there are just 2 chances to get into the playoffs. Byron's in, but guys like Busch, Briscoe, and Bubba are not. Their time is running out. We, however, are just getting started. Around the Track starts now.
A decision on number 3 with 2 races left and only 1 show to watch to get you ready for Daytona. Welcome to Around the Track. I'm Carly Gebhardt alongside Gabe McDonald, and we are getting close to the end, Gabe.
Absolutely, but we're just beginning right here on Around the Track. We've got an exclusive one-on-one interview for you. Rowdy himself is in Garage Confidential this week. We're talking with Kyle Busch, plus NASCAR going back to its roots for the Clash, Carl.
That's right, plus you'll meet an Xfinity Series rookie who's already in the playoffs. But first, we go back to where it all started earlier this year, and this is stock car racing's great equalizer, right? The super speedway that anyone can win at, Daytona, and we do mean anyone can win. Just ask the likes of Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, and Justin Haley. They punched their tickets into NASCAR history by winning the late summer race here. Constant 3, sometimes 4 wide racing. You can expect wrecks early and often. With so much on the line so late in the season, teams aren't just looking to keep their cars clean, but looking to score those all-important stage points. At the Daytona 500, we started in the day and ended at night, but this time, it's all prime time, just the way the teams like it.
You can't make all your own luck there. There is a matter of being in the right place at the right time, simply by circumstance. Mistakes get made. Everyone's a little bit more desperate as it comes down to it, so that race definitely has the ability to get a lot more wild, especially as we get into the closing laps.
It's chaotic, but you have to try to process things at a much slower pace, and it's really hard to do. And I feel like a lot of drivers are just one step away from making that right move to position you there. Where I find myself, I make the right moves to get to the front, and then say like Denny Hamlin makes the right moves to do that and makes the right moves to keep himself at the front. That's why he's a 3-time Daytona 500 winner. So
Go ahead and do Daytona by the numbers. The 2.5-mile track will have drivers take on 400 miles over 160 laps. 9 drivers in the starting lineup have a win in this race, but no driver has multiple Daytona summer wins. And we have a tie we need to break this weekend. Ford and Chevy both have 21 summer wins here, more than any other manufacturer. This will be the 155th time the NASCAR Cup Series has contested a race on the iconic Daytona track. And it's not the 500 like we mentioned, but you can bet a lot of those drivers are treating this one lightly.
That's right, we got the driver of the number 8 for RCR, Kyle Busch, joining us now for Garage Confidential. And Kyle, confidential being the key word here, because I need the inside scoop after the 3's run at Richmond. Obviously, your P4 finish at Michigan. Where is the speed coming from for RCR right now?
Well, obviously, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of things that have been culminating behind the scenes since April or May. Just a lot of things and a lot of decisions being made to open up our box a little bit, use more tools and resources that we have available to us with the Chevrolet system and their big building that's down in Concord, but also just trying to be a little bit smarter. Having the 2-week break was obviously a good time for a little bit of a reset. We changed a little bit of personnel on each the 3 and the 8 team over that break, and so it just kind of seems to be culminating a little bit better right now and coming together. So obviously some smarter decisions being made. Also, some incident-free races have happened where we're not getting caught up in somebody else's stuff or getting crashed out. So let's keep that going in the right direction.
Well, some other good news for RCR is that you're also very good down in Daytona. So obviously that's the next race this weekend. How do you feel about the chances?
I feel good about it. Every time we've been down there with RCR, myself being in the Chevrolet with Richard Childress Racing, our cars have been fast. We've had really good speed, decent speed qualifying, but more importantly, we've had really good race cars. So look forward to our Cheddar's Camaro and getting that back on the track down in Daytona this weekend, and hopefully being able to pick right up where we left off with that oh-so-close photo finish from Atlanta in Cheddar's car, and being able to get one, with the checker flag for us first.
We know Daytona is always chaotic, but how chaotic do you expect it to be personally with how tight the race is around the cut line right now?
I would say it's going to be pretty epic. As much as I hate to say that, I feel like it's going to be that way. I'd like it to be pretty smooth sailing and me out front and us taking home the win, But I think you go into that race and there's 36 other guys that believe that they have a legit shot to win the race, and so that's what makes it tougher, is just everybody going for broke and feeling like they can change their entire season with a win in Daytona and then putting themselves in the playoffs. So that playoff cut line is getting pretty close right now. We're too far out to make it on points, but all those guys are right there real close, and if they have issues, they're gonna knock themselves further out of an opportunity. So if they can get a win, that just locks them in.
Do you wish that maybe this one was the final race before the playoffs, or do you like that maybe this season you have Darlington right after?
I think it's close enough that it's still going to be the same chaos anyways. I don't know that it much matters. I do feel, though, is like, okay, get through the adversity and whatever else might go down at Daytona, and you've got one more legit shot to be able to go perform and do your job as a driver and outdrive some other guys and see what your team can do with a race car to go to Darlington and try to win there. So I feel like that's a good fair shake.
So how much can we expect the number 8 to push it this weekend on the track?
Yeah, we got to go get it. We've got to do all we can do in order to get out there. You also got to be mindful to just not put yourself in a bad spot, not get in trouble. We got to be smart with our pit plays and how we get our track position when it matters most. And we've done a pretty good job of that, of being up front when it matters to start or to come towards the close of the final stage to end the race. I just chose the wrong lane this year in the Daytona 500, so I got myself, starting outside lane and it didn't go. So if I would have restarted inside lane, I would have finished top 3, top 4, somewhere in there. So hopefully we can put all that together this time.
We know your future, at least, is going to be at RCR for the next year. Do you have any insight on Kyle Busch's future or what that might look like?
I don't, right now I'm living one race at a time trying to make it into the playoffs. So that's as far forward as I can think at the current moment. But then whether we make it or whether we don't make it in the playoffs, obviously the focus is to try to get a win in the remaining races of this year to be able to, keep that 20-year win streak alive. And then we'll go off and we'll fight into another year. We've got a lot of great things coming into play for next year. With some really good personnel that are on the back door waiting to get let in, as they've got to let their contracts expire currently. So we're just hopeful that those guys will really come in, work hard, and make a difference so we can all be contending for the top 5s, top 10s, and wins that we want to next year.
Nice. We'll be looking forward to that news. Kyle Busch, we appreciate your time. Good luck in Daytona this weekend.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you.
I stopped really caring so much about the results and started focusing more on how you get to that point and how you can go win races.
There's plenty of love to go around in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Jesse Love, that is. The young phenom is tearing up the circuit. You'll get to know him in just a bit.
And the Clash is a fan favorite race in NASCAR, and yet again, it's moving addresses. While we say goodbye to Los Angeles, we'll have to go back in time to find its 2025 home. Those details are on deck. And we know about the playoff bubble and those drivers trying to clinch a spot, but there's another standings race we got to talk about.
That's right. We got a new leader for the regular season title, and that's got a big reward for the winner. We'll break it down when Around the Track continues.
Appeal denied. That's what the National Motorsports Appeals Panel has told Austin Dillon and Richard Childress Racing. The 3-team appealed NASCAR's ruling that took their playoff eligibility away when Dillon wrecked both Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin to get the win at Richmond a couple weekends ago. RCR says it will make a final appeal. However, the appeals board did reduce Dillon's spotter-branded Venetia suspension from 3 races to just 1. And while Dillon's ruling impacted the drivers on the cut line, it was the race in Michigan this past weekend that impacted the top of the standings. And this is one of the tightest races we've seen for the regular season title in quite some time. Reddick's win in Michigan gives him the regular season points lead for the first time this season, moving Chase Elliott down to second by 10 points. Denny Hamlin, he's out of the championship by just 28 points, and Kyle Larson is back by 32 points. There's only 2 more races to decide who will get those 15 bonus playoff points. And remember, not only does the regular season champion get a playoff spot and the bonus points, it's essentially a free pass into the round of 8, Carla.
Well, what's the quickest path to the Cup Series for up-and-coming drivers? Well, many would say you drive in the ARCA Menard Series and then you follow it with a stop in the Xfinity Series. And that's what driver of the number 2 for RCR did. And although there's still a lot of winning left on the table, there's no denying that Jesse Love has made a statement his rookie season.
Hey, this is Jesse Love, driver of the number 2 Whelen Chevrolet for RCR.
Love may be lost on the track in NASCAR.
Contact made into the wall hard.
But it can quickly be found in the Xfinity Series in 2024. And for many reasons, the competition should have seen it coming.
Yeah, I'd say it's been pretty fast and pretty rapid. I came from California and have a lot of the same routes that a lot of well-known NASCAR drivers have had, like Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, and guys that come from California and then go to Indiana to race midgets and sprint cars. Or for me, it was more kind of Midwest as well, and then transition over to more of stock cars, and kind of always had a healthy balance and primarily more pavement. But obviously the last few years it's kind of been meteoric.
At just 15 years old, Love became the youngest driver to win a NASCAR sanctioned event, winning the ARCA Menard Series West in 2021. Once he moved to the National ARCA Menard Series in 2023, the winning picked up speed, winning 10 out of the 20 races that season with 18 top 10s and 17 top 5s. And yes, in case you're wondering, that was enough for a championship in 2023.
Learning experience for me was racing the ARCA Series and running all 20 races last year and working with Billy Venturini and Shannon Rush. As far as the mindset side of things, kind of really honed me in. I stopped really caring so much about the results and started focusing more on how you get to that point and how you can go win races. And I feel like once I figured that out, we started winning a ton of races together.
And those are lessons he's had to build on since joining Richard Childress Racing in the Xfinity Series. In his very first race at Daytona, he won the pole and led 34 laps before getting involved in a big wreck.
There goes Jesse Love. I was worried about that.
He'd finished 20th. And in the very next race in Atlanta, he won the pole again and both stages before losing fuel and finishing 12th.
Here comes Austin Hill driving through.
But in Talladega, it would all change.
Jesse Love, the rookie. They're crashing behind him. Love, first career win comes at Talladega.
Giving RCR their first win in the 2-car since 2021.
My favorite speedway. I love the fans. Saw a lot of great people out on the boulevard last night wearing my shirts and everything. So, woo!
It was a good positive, thing to be a part of, and obviously Talladega was a place that I love going to, and so to get my first Xfinity win there was obviously even better.
And if you're looking for what drives Love off the track, well, it's not more racing.
To have my own, hobbies and things like that, and I think because of that, I'm able to, when it's time to really focus on racing, I'm not burnt out of it, right? I can go and golf or go on the lake and go surfing in the ocean or do things like that as kind of a complete breakaway from it. I feel like when I do things during the week that make me happy, then I show up to the racetrack with a happy mindset, and that's when I feel like good performances come.
The Clash is heading east. We're going back to NASCAR's roots at Bowman Gray Stadium, but why? NASCAR officials explain it all next.
And the last Clash location had big Olympic vibes being in the LA Coliseum, but now Daytona is going to have gold involved this weekend. A member of Team USA is becoming a NASCAR official, but who is it? Find out next on Around the Track.
These guys could end up stealing the show this weekend. These are the Super Speedway's Air Titans, and it looks like they're going to be needed too. There are scattered showers on the radar for the Daytona Beach area, and these trucks use compressed air to push water off the track and get us back to racing faster. Remember, those wet weather tires can't be used at longer tracks like Super Speedways here. The 500 had to be pushed back a day back in February because of the rain.
And this guy is used to getting wet, but we think he's going to prefer to be dry for his duties this weekend. Olympic gold medalist Caleb Dressel is this weekend's honorary event official. Fresh off winning 2 golds and a silver in Paris for swimming, Dressel will help NASCAR with all of his pre-race festivities, including calling out the 4 most famous words in in all of racing. Russell grew up just a few miles from the track in Green Cove Springs and swam at the University of Florida in Gainesville. And for the past few seasons, NASCAR's big preseason race, The Clash, has been on the West Coast, all about the glitz and glamour in LA, Carl.
That's right, but now it's time we kick it back to its roots. We're going back to the hallowed hall of racing in the heart of NASCAR country, and our friend Danny Harden has the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He's at the NASCAR Hall of Fame with someone who brought the Clash home.
We've heard rumors for a while, but now it is official. NASCAR Cup Series returning to Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. It's going to be to kick off the 2025 NASCAR season with the Clash at the Madhouse, February 2nd. Justin Swilling, Director of Marketing with NASCAR, joins us now. You're also going to be project lead for this thing.
Correct.
Let's go. This is exciting news.
Absolutely. It's an incredible opportunity for our sport to go back to a facility that's just iconic and so rich in history from the start of stock car auto racing and specifically NASCAR. We couldn't be more excited to bring the Clash back to the East Coast after 3 incredible years out in Los Angeles.
The last few years, NASCAR's really been into going to new markets, getting new audiences, but this news really makes the old school NASCAR fans really happy.
Absolutely. It's a balance, right? That's what it's all about. We've got to ensure that we're attracting new, young, diverse, dynamic fans, but also feeding that core. In this event, we'll do just that. We think it's going to showcase what racing has always been about and will always be about. And we also think, too, that it's going to shine a light on a weekly racing showcase and a venue that's doing this on every Saturday night that folks should be able to go catch either in Winston-Salem at Bowman Gray Stadium or at another nearby NASCAR regional track.
What will be some of the challenges of holding the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium? The first one, it holds about 17,000 people. There's going to be more than 17,000 people that want in that race.
Absolutely. Well, if you want your tickets, I highly encourage you to go ahead and get to NASCARclash.com. You want to go ahead and put your deposit in for the first chance to get a ticket. But, you know, the directive's been given by our leadership to preserve the magic of Bowman Gray Stadium. We want to ensure that what folks see on Big Fox on Sunday, February 2nd, 2025 is the same thing that they would see if they showed up on any other Saturday evening.
There's so much to be excited about. I mean, the NASCAR Cup Series used to go there so many times back in the day. Richard Petty won his 100th race there. Just there's so much history with that place, and now NASCAR's coming back there.
There is, and we're going to make history again in 2025, which is what we're really excited about. Again, the opportunity to showcase our most premier national series at one of the most iconic NASCAR venues is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Your project lead on the Clash, but you have zero control on Mother Nature. February 2nd in Winston-Salem. It could be 61 degrees and sunny. It could be icy and cold. But you don't have any control over that.
You best believe every morning when I get up, I'm dancing to the weather gods and asking them for their favorability on that weekend. But no, rest assured that whatever weather conditions that we show up to Bowman Gray Stadium and see, we'll be ready for, and we'll ensure that it certainly might be a little bit cold for the fans, right? But we'll make sure that it's a memorable and unforgettable experience, and one that they will want to ensure that they get out there for, regardless of what temperature is or what kind of conditions we're embracing.
All right, Justin, thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
And February 2nd, we'll be here before we know it.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. Thanks.
William Byron burned it down back in February when he won the 500, but who will take the residency in that legendary victory lane this weekend? We've got the odds and our victory lane logs next. Going into the week, the odds makers kept it pretty close. There are two, though, that DraftKings has zeroed in on. Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, both past winners here at Daytona. Now, normally the odds are a little smaller, but we're at a super speedway, so the leaders are both at 10-1. They're followed closely by Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch. That's right, the bubble driver with Blaney at 11-1. Brad Keselowski rounds out the top 5 with Kyle Larson at 12-1. And we should note that 3 main bubble drivers, Bubba Wallace and last year's winner of this race, Chris Buescher, are at 16-1, while Ross Chastain is at 25-1. And of course, the only constant in those odds really is Denny Hamlin. We know this is a track he loves to race at and drive at, but when you're talking about victory lane locks for this race, Gabe, that pretty much goes out the window.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have so many wild cards in this race, and I'm going with somebody who is also considered a wild card. I think the man we talked to earlier in the show is going to return to victory lane. Give me old Rowdy to get it done this weekend at Daytona. He's won the summer race at Daytona before, albeit back in 2008 when this race was in July. But he has 4 other top 5 finishes in this race as well. Plus, he talked about the streak dating back to 2005. He's He's won at least one points race every season he's been a full-time driver. Make that 20 years. Kyle Busch getting into the playoffs at the end.
All right, love that. I'm going with Ford, though. Give me Chris Buescher. It comes to close wins here. He's had a few of them. 6th place right now last week in Michigan. He's also the winner of last year's season finale at Daytona. We know that. That got him locked into the playoffs. But Ford likely going to be strong here. And his teammate Brad Kay, good plate racer, and he's also an owner of RFK Racing. So you know he wants to get both of those cars locked into the playoffs. So it should be a wild card race, but a fun one on Saturday.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, that'll do it for us on Around the Track. Enjoy the night race at Daytona. We'll see you next week.